your girl Carrie, and today I'm going to be sharing part 3 of my Becoming a Maxxinista series. And in this series I show you how to become an informed shopper when shopping at TJMAXX. Now all of the other parts of the series will be linked in the description box below, and today we will be focusing on my tips and tricks when shopping at TJMAXX. So tip number 1 is how to authenticate the designer items being sold at TJMAXX, and I dedicated an entire video to that, and that was part 1 of my series, so check that out after you watch this video. Tip number 2 is how to decipher all of the tags that are located on the merchandise in TJMAXX, and that also warranted a separate video, and that will be in the link in the description box below as well. So now moving on to tip number 3, and that would have to be location, location, location. But before we talk about location, let's talk about the 4 types of TJMAXXs you might encounter. The first one is a standalone store. That's just your regular old TJMAXX, what we're all familiar with. The second one is a standalone TJMAXX store, but it has a runway section in there. And as I explained before in my previous segment of the series, is that a runway location are the locations that actually have the very, very high-end premium designer merchandise, and they are identified by the purple tags. The third type of store is the combination store, and that's when you see the TJMAXX home good combination stores. And the fourth type is TJMAXX online. Now each one of those stores will serve a different purpose based on what you're looking for. Now let's talk about why location is important. Now I live in the metro Atlanta area, and I have access to approximately 20 TJMAXX stores. Now the reason location is important is because the company decides what merchandise goes into each one of these stores based on certain demographics in the area. So for example, if I'm looking for high-end merchandise like the runway type stores, and I want really high-end merchandise for a discount, I need to identify where my runway stores are, because that's where I'm going to go to get that higher end merchandise. Also, let's say I'm looking for some large-scale decor pieces for my home. The location of the TJMAXX that I want to visit plays an important role, because I probably wouldn't want to go to the location that's downtown, because the homes or the apartments or the condos that are located in the city are a lot smaller, and they're not going to warrant large pieces of decor. So it might be more beneficial for me to go to the locations that are located in the suburbs, namely the more affluent suburbs that could support purchasing higher end, larger pieces. Also, location is important because you can strategically go to certain locations to pick up items that may have sold out at other locations. For example, when Rae Dunn first came out, it was a craze. Everyone that loved that whole farmhouse rustic look was looking to collect all of the Rae Dunn mugs and everything else now. I think they sell Rae Dunn everything now. And now in the stores in my local area that's right around me, you couldn't find any Rae Dunn. I mean, as soon as it hit the shelves, they flew off the shelves. But I knew, okay, this must be a craze in the area that I'm staying in. I'm going to the airport, I might make a trip over to the location that's near the airport, which happens to be in a more urban area, and I just found a plethora of Rae Dunn items, because that demographic really wasn't interested in Rae Dunn. If there's an item that you want that keeps flying off the shelves, think about another area where this item may not be popular. Visit that store and you might hit the jackpot. My next tip is to track your stores or keep a listing. And I have this listing here, which is in this protective sleeve. I keep this in my car, and this one right here is actually for all of the home goods listings, but Home Goods, TJMAXX, Marshalls, they are all owned by the same parent company. And by having a listing of all the stores, now you can ask your sales associate for the listing, or you can just keep track of it in your phone or however you want. But basically what you want to do as you visit the different stores, you want to take notes so in the future you know which store to go to depending on your needs at the time. Notes that I might write is that this TJ Maxx is in the same plaza as a Marshall's, which oftentimes they are. Let's say I'm going out to look for an 8-piece place setting. Well, we all know that it's very rare that you can find an entire set of anything in any one store. You're going to have to visit multiple stores. I might look at my listing and say, I'm only going to visit the locations that have a TJ Maxx and a Marshall's in the plaza, because that will eliminate running around time if I have to go to multiple locations. I also might write in my notes, this particular TJ Maxx has large scale decor pieces. And so when I'm looking for large scale decor pieces to fill my home, I know which ones to go to. Or I might say, you know what, I want to look for some quality high-end designer handbags or shoes for a fraction of the price. I would make a note on my listing that this particular TJ Maxx has a runway section. And so by keeping these listings, you know exactly what TJ Maxx is to hit. Now my next tip is, when is the best time to shop at TJ Maxx? And my answer is, every day is a good day to shop at TJ Maxx. You might have heard from friends or read somewhere that Wednesday mornings is the best time to shop at TJ Maxx. You want to check with your own local TJ Maxx, but for me, every day is a great day to shop at TJ Maxx. My stores get merchandise every single day, 7 days a week. According to the sales associate at my store, she says that the truckloads come in at night, late at night, and then at 7 a.m. in the morning they unload the trucks, and then they begin to put the new merchandise out on the shelves, and usually by noon they're finished if there's nothing else that kind of holds them up. So the best time to shop is probably any day around noon to 7 p.m. like in that time span, and that way you get first dibs on seeing what new merchandise is coming out, because a lot of times they don't have multiples, so you want to be there to be able to snag those items. That leads me to my next tip. If you see something you want, put it in your cart right away. Even if you don't end up buying it, at least it's in your cart and you have the control to determine whether you want to buy it or not. There are so many times that I looked at something that I thought I liked, I left it on the shelf and said, I just got into the store. I didn't even get to look at everything else yet. Let me take a spin around the store, and if I like it, I'll come back and get it, or something like that. And by the time I make my way back around, someone already snatched it up. So I say, whatever you think you might like, put it in your basket and keep filling your basket as you walk around the whole store. And once you finish shopping and you're ready to check out, I'd say, stand in a certain spot and kind of go through the items that you really think you're going to purchase. If you're on the fence about whether or not you want something, I say buy it. You can always return it, and that way you can, go home, make a decision, see if you really want it, because if you let it stay there and you go home, you try to make a decision and you come back, it is very highly likely that that item will be gone. That's happened to me countless times. Now that might sound like it goes against the grain when I say, ooh, I'm an off-season shopper. I'm always looking for stuff on sale. When you're going into places like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshall's, a lot of their merchandise is one-off items, unique pieces, and you're not going to be able to find those, let alone wait for those items to go on sale. So I always cruise the sales section to see what I, can possibly find. But if it's something that I want, I'm not waiting for a sale, because it probably will never make it to the sale clearance section. Now, another strategy that I have, if I purchase something that is full price because I'm scared it's not going to be there later on, I buy it, I bring it home, I leave the tags on it for up to 30 days because I know that they're marking their merchandise down after 30 days and then every so often after that until they sell it or cancel it out. So within that 30-day period, I'm kind of still going to the stores, kind of looking around and then seeing if the item that I wanted ever went on clearance. And if it did go on clearance, when it's marked down, what you can do to take advantage of those discounts, because TJ Maxx does not do any price adjustments. Their merchandise moves so quick, they do not do price adjustments. So what you would do is return your item for full price and then buy the sale item. So you're just going to return and buy it back if you are really concerned about getting those discounts and not paying full price. I've done that several times, and then there are times I was so happy that I paid full price because the item never went on sale because everyone bought it before it could even hit the sales center. Next tip is to always check TJ Maxx before going to the department stores. So before heading to the mall and going to some place like Macy's, Dillard's, Nordstrom, Belk, always go to TJ Maxx first, because a lot of times they sell the exact same merchandise by the exact same brands. And another buying tactic that TJ Maxx uses is that they will buy designer products, let's say in this case Michael Kors handbags or Steve Madden shoes. Most of the larger stores like that are in malls, they sell the merchandise in their stores, and anything that's left over or that they do not sell, they ship it back to the manufacturer. Well, what TJ Maxx does, in order for them to be able to lower their prices, they say, hey, we're not going to do the buyback clause. We're going to negotiate a price with you, a lower price, and whatever we take or buy from you, we're going to keep in our stores. And if it doesn't sell, then oh well, our loss. So you want to always check TJ Maxx first. And here's an example that I would like to share. I found these wonderful Steve Madden slip-on sneaker-like shoes that I absolutely love in TJ Maxx, and these are the current season. They're being sold right now in Dillard's, and in TJ Maxx these shoes are $34.99, and in Dillard's they're over $100. And this rings true for a lot of the items. So TJ Maxx not only sells past season merchandise, they do sell merchandise that's still currently being sold in these department stores. So I would say always check TJ Maxx before going to a department store. My next tip is to make sure that you check the price tags of all the items that are similar to something you're considering purchasing. For example, handbags. I love to purchase handbags from TJ Maxx, and a lot of times they'll have several of the same handbag. I always make sure that I look at all of the price tags on the handbag, because there are times you will actually see different prices, and it has nothing to do with the bag being on sale. It's just the regular full price white ticket. For example, I saw these Michael Kors handbags, and one had a $99.99 price tag, the other one had a $119.99 price tag. So when I see price discrepancies like this, that means that these bags were purchased at different times in different lots, and sometimes when they buy their merchandise, they get it at a lower price, so they pass those savings on to you. Then they might go back out to auction and bid and buy the next bulk, and it has the same handbag in there, but they paid a higher price. So in that respect, they're going to pass on that cost to you. So that's how you end up with two different prices on the exact same item. Now that exact same item might have a third price. And so after you look through all of the prices in the regular section for the full price tag, I encourage you to head on over to the clearance section and take a look at the handbags there to make sure that that same handbag is not in the clearance pile now. Because what happens once an item is there for 30 days or so, it starts going through the markdown phase. And that item might have been purchased 30 days before in another lot of items, and now it's time for a markdown. So make sure you check everywhere so that you can get the best price available to you. My next tip is to never rely on the compare to price on the sticker. Let me see if you can see that. The compare to price is right here. It is of no value. It is almost oftentimes always misleading. It's either overstated or understated. What I would do, instead of using the compare to price as a guide, if your item has a If your item has a MSRP, your manufacturer suggested retail price sticker, this one here has a $58 MSRP on that. You can use that, or better yet, don't even rely on the MSRP, because a lot of times that's just the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Lots of locations offer sales and things like that and discounts. What I would do is Google it. I'm always Googling items that I find in any store, not just TJ Maxx, but any store, to see if I'm getting the best deal. You want to see what those items are selling for, so that you can kind of compare and contrast and know that you're getting a good deal. So you probably will always get the better deal at TJ Maxx. It's always going to be cheaper, but it may not be as cheap as they're sharing on their compared to price. The compared to price might make it seem as though you're getting a 70% discount, but when you actually look it up and compare it to other stores, it works out to being only a 20% discount, which is still fine because you're still getting a better price there and you're still going to buy it. For example, I'm loving this cracked heel cream. You know, we have to take care of our feet during the winter time. The summer months and spring months and sandal months are coming up. And this right here is listed on the back. I purchased this for $4.99. I don't know if you could see. I don't know if you could see that. It's $4.99. And when I looked this up online, this bottle of cracked heel cream is 12 bucks. So I know it's a great price. I know it's a great deal. Now, speaking of cream and bath and body items, my next tip, head on over to those departments that you may not think about going to. I love going to the bath and beauty aisle in TJ Maxx. Now, there's some controversy over whether or not you should buy the products in the makeup section, in the bath and beauty section. I personally love buying my products from there. And here are a few steps you might want to consider taking when you're buying beauty and bath products from TJ Maxx. One of the biggest concerns that people have with purchasing the makeup, the designer makeup at TJ Maxx is tampering. So many of the locations, when you go through, you'll find these high-end brands. Like this one here is a Smashbox primer, stick primer. Then you have the Cover FX setting spray. They have all kinds of high-end designer brands. You can find Becca Cosmetics there. You can find Too Faced Cosmetics, NARS Cosmetics. And what happens is people will come in because they don't have testers or samples there like they would in a beauty store. People come in and they open up the boxes, open up the product, test it, put it on their, skin. A lot of other locations, they'll open the item and actually take the item out. The theft is rampant for some of these high-end beauty products. So you might pick one up and then realize you bought an empty container. And if you can find a box that has not been opened at all, and those are the boxes that I look for and that I actually purchase, are the ones that have not been tampered with. You can get some great deals. For example, this Smashbox Photo Finish Mattifying Primer Stick, it was $14.99 at TJ Maxx, and to purchase this in Sephora, it's $25, and I think you can get it on Amazon for $21. And the same thing with this Cover FX. This was $4.99, and to buy it online, it's the 1 ounce size is $10.50. Foundation that I wear, I found it once in TJ Maxx, and that's normally $48 for me to purchase at Ulta, and they were selling it at TJ Maxx for $9.99. And no, this is not expired makeup. The reason they're usually selling it is maybe they're starting a new marketing campaign and they're going to start the packaging over. So they're trying to get rid of all of the old packaging. Also maybe colors that didn't sell well, or a holiday line or something like that. And everything is being pushed off because they want them off their shelves so they can stock it with new items. But this is perfectly good makeup. I encourage you to take a look at least, because you can save a lot of money, because makeup, high-end makeup, is very expensive. Now, if you don't want to go that route and you say, you know what, I just don't want to put anything on my face that has the potential of being opened, or you still think it may be fake or something like that, I encourage you to purchase your nail polishes from there. They have the high-end designer brands, the brands that my nail salon uses. I purchase my own nail polish and I bring it to the salon so that they can give me my pedicures. And they use OPI in my salon. And OPI nail polish, you guys know, is very expensive. I think it's like $9, in some cases $10 when you go to Ulta or the different beauty stores. And they also sell Essie. And Essie is the same price as the OPI nail polish. You can get the brands OPI and Essie in TJ Maxx for $3.99. So I think the nail polishes are a great deal. And another one that's very high end, I think it's Orly, O-R-L-Y. They also use that in my nail salon. So I would suggest to always check out at least the nail polish in TJ Maxx. Another tip and another section that you want to always stop by while you're in TJ Maxx is the jewelry counter, the jewelry section. Now what you'll notice is that TJ Maxx is the only one of the stores that that's owned by the TJX parent company that has a jewelry section. Marshall's does not have a jewelry counter. There's no jewelry in Marshall's. So check out the jewelry in TJ Maxx. They have some wonderful finds. I have tons of jewelry from TJ Maxx, and their selection runs the gamut. You can get costume jewelry all the way up to fine jewelry, real 14 karat gold. You can find the designer brands depending on whether or not you're in a runway store. So I would suggest to check out the jewelry counter if you have not looked at their jewelry. And then I would also suggest check out their food aisle, their gourmet food aisle. I love going to TJ Maxx and cruising down the food aisle. You may have heard some myths. I would never buy food out of there. It must be expired. You will find some wonderful brands, and what I typically love to get out of there are these biscotti. I love this cranberry pistachio biscotti that they sell there, and also the beautiful bottled drinks and bottled waters. Those are great for when you're entertaining. I think a lot of you asked on my tablescape sometimes, where did you get that water from? TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods have beautiful selection of waters, sparkling juices, you name it. For all of you Maxinistas that love to shop, that loves the thrill of the hunt, that loves to share their finds, I hope this video was helpful for you. Make sure you check out the other videos in this series and list down below your best find in TJ Maxx. And until next time, I'm going to keep calm and carry on. Bye guys.